Hello students, welcome back to this video again. So here we will be continuing with the topic of the molecular basis of DNA. So first of all today we are going to discuss the one of the experiment that is given in your syllabus is the Hershey and Chase experiment. Okay, one experiment that was conducted by Hershey and Chase. They are the two scientists, okay, who have done this experiment in 1952. In 1952, one experiment they have done on bacteriophage. Bacteriophage. Okay. So, what is this bacteriophage? Bacteriophage is actually it's a virus. Bacteriophage is actually a virus which attacks and kills bacteria. Okay, which attacks and kills bacteria. So that is a bacteriophage. So they have done an experiment on bacteriophage to understand whether it is the DNA or it is the protein, okay, that has transferred from virus to bacteria. Because when this virus attacks bacteria, some toxic, something that must enter from virus to bacteria which kills it, right? So, and obviously it is a genetic material which enters. What Griffith's experiment we have already seen that the transforming principle that Griffith told about, okay, the genetic material, the transforming principle that inherited, that transferred from one organism to another organism. So we already have come to know, we already have the knowledge from the Griffiths that yes, it is a genetic material which transfers, which can transfer, right? So now in this experiment they tried to understand what is that genetic material that transfer from virus to the bacteria, whether it is a DNA or it is a protein. So there were confusion in between the scientists at that point of time, during that time. So they tried to understand which one exactly is the genetic material that transfer from the virus to the bacteria. Okay, some genetic material transfers, it was told by Griffith, but what exactly it was, whether it is a DNA or it's a protein. So this was a huge debate at that point of time, and they tried to attempt to understand what exactly, whether it is a DNA or it's a protein which enters from virus to bacteria. Okay, so what they did actually. So the experiment, let us get in the experiment now. Two culture medium were kept in the lab. Okay, two culture medium kept in the laboratory where one medium is a nutrient medium, culture medium. Okay, so we can, let me write here, culture medium. Okay, this is also a culture medium. In this first one, culture medium, let's label it culture medium A and culture medium B. In culture medium A, radioactive phosphorus were kept. Some bacteriophage experiment, right? Some bacteria were kept in this culture medium A where radioactive phosphorus kept. Okay, so radiation, okay, let's not do this, let's keep it simple. So radioactive phosphorus kept here along with the bacteriophage, the viruses. All the virus are here, and along with this virus radioactive phosphorus kept here. In the second one, some viruses are kept here, bacteriophages, okay, and here radioactive sulfur kept, radioactive sulfur kept here. Understood? This was the setup of the experiment. Now what happened? While they are growing the virus with either in this medium or in this medium, where when they are growing, what happened is that they were affected by the radiation. So the virus here, it is found that they contain radioactive DNA. In this case, what you have seen here, they have affected with, they contained radioactive DNA in the virus because of this phosphorus kept here. And here what I have seen here is that this virus when affected by this sulfur, radioactive sulfur, so this virus they contain radioactive sulfur. Okay, so radioactive, not sulfur here, sulfur, the affected radioactive proteins. Now question comes, so why in this virus, group of virus, because of the phosphorus, why the DNA gets affected? And in this virus, why protein get affected? Because this group of virus contain radioactive DNA while they grown up in this medium, okay, culture medium A, where radioactive phosphorus kept, okay, the virus grown up with radioactive DNA. Here in culture medium B, radioactive sulfur kept and the virus grown up with the radioactive proteins. Here what happens is that why DNA gets affected, because DNA, if you look at the molecular basis, we know that there is a phosphate group is present in the DNA. Okay, that is why it affects the phosphate group of the DNA. That's why it affects the DNA. There is no other genetic material where we get the phosphate group here. So, but the DNA contains the phosphate group. That's why it is affected. In case of this sulfur here, now DNA does not contain sulfur. That's why it is not affecting DNA. It affects the proteins here. Okay. So this group of virus contain radioactive DNA. Now this group of virus contain radioactive protein. I hope this much is clear to you, right? Now the bacteria are brought here in the picture, and the viruses were allowed to attach to the bacteria. And bacteria first, naturally it will attack bacteria, it will try to kill bacteria. Okay, so what happens is that, so bacteria were brought here, some bacteria, and which were mixed up with the with this radioactive DNA containing virus, and here also some bacteria were mixed up, okay, in both the cases separately. So it means that the virus were allowed to attach to the bacteria. So what happens in same case here, these viruses were allowed to attach to the bacteria. Okay, so now what happens, or else, see what happens is that either bacteria were brought to mix up with the viruses, or these viruses were taken out separately to get mixed with the let's do that one. Okay, let's do the opposite way. So some viruses were taken out, so there are some bacteria were kept here, two groups of bacteria separately, two groups of bacteria were there. Okay, and now these radioactive viruses were allowed to attach with the bacteria. So let me make this radioactive viruses in the red one. So they get attached with the bacteria here, and here also these viruses get attached with the bacteria. Okay. Now what has been found is that once this virus attacks the bacteria, they create a coating, a layering over the bacteria. Okay, so it means the infection is happening. So as the infection grows further, later on what happens is that two steps were done. Once they were attacked, infected already by the viruses, okay, then these virus coatings, they create a coating over the bacteria, poisonous coating. So the coating were separated from the bacteria with agitating them in a blender. Okay, so first step is after this, number one, the coatings were separated in a blender. So a blender is used here first of all, okay, to separate the coatings around the bacteria, virus coating around the bacteria. Okay, and number two, now the virus coatings were separated. Now the virus needs to be separated from the bacteria. So in a centrifuge is a device through which the viruses were separated from the bacteria. Okay, it means when the virus attacks the bacteria, they create a poisonous coating over the bacteria. That is a poison, that attack, that is infection. So by the blender, by agitating the bacteria, the coating were separated, and then the virus is still there. So the virus were separated from the bacteria in a device called centrifuge. Okay, so now virus are separated along with the coatings from the bacteria. Now as it is, as the virus, but the bacteria were already infected, they are already infected, the bacteria. Okay, and what has been found in the bacteria now? It has been found in the bacteria that this group of bacteria found radioactive. This group of bacteria found radioactive. So they are found radioactive. So let's give a red coating here to indicate that they are already radioactive now. Okay. Now this group of bacteria were found, they were not radioactive. So not radioactive. So these bacteria were not affected by the radioactive, but this group of bacteria, they found radioactive. It means that when it proves, what it proves that, see, this group of viruses, they contain what? Radioactive DNA. When these viruses attached with the bacteria, they infected the bacteria. And infected the bacteria means they obviously transfer the DNA to the bacteria. That is why this bacteria were found radioactive. Clear? Now look at this one. This virus contained radioactive proteins. When this virus attacked this bacteria, okay, and infected the bacteria, but this bacteria, group of bacteria, were found not radioactive. It means the radioactive protein did not transfer from the virus to the bacteria. But in this case, the radioactive DNA 100% transferred from the virus to the bacteria. That's why these bacteria become radioactive. In this case, the radioactive protein obviously did not transfer from the virus to the bacteria. That's why they did not become radioactive. So this proves that DNA transferred. This is a clear-cut proof that DNA transferred. Okay, protein did not transfer from virus to bacteria. Understood? So we can write here as a conclusion that is a bacteriophage bacteriophage, and it's a bacteria, and what is found that it is the DNA which is transferred. As their bacteriophage were attacked radioactive by the DNA, this DNA is transferred to the bacteria, so this bacteria become radioactive. Understood? This is the conclusion. This is the picture of this experiment, not this one. Understood? Because here protein did not transfer from the virus to bacteria, otherwise the bacteria would have been radioactive, because here the protein is radioactive. As they did not found radioactive the bacteria, that is why it proves that the protein did not transfer to the bacteria. And here we have seen, it is clearly proved that DNA transferred from virus to bacteria, because it is DNA which is affected in the virus. Okay? So this is what, after this experiment, the debate between the DNA and the protein, that which one is actually transferred, which one is actually the genetic material, it is clear from the experiment. After this, there were no doubt, no debate on this issue. Okay, it was concluded that yes, DNA is the genetic material which actually transfers. Okay, I hope you understood this experiment. Just 1 second. Okay, fine. Now, if you understood this experiment, next part here, properties of genetic material. See, it has been found that in some viruses, RNA is also act as the genetic material. Okay, there were viruses like they were containing RNA as a genetic material. Okay, virus either will contain DNA as genetic material or RNA as genetic material. Both cannot be there. So there are viruses where RNA is there and act as genetic material, the RNA. Okay, those are called retroviruses, and retroviruses is much more reactive in nature. We will understand why. Examples of the retroviruses, if you look at this coronavirus, this is also retrovirus. Okay, so they are much more attacking nature. Okay, HIV virus is a retrovirus. The mode of attacking is very high. Very reactive these viruses are because of the RNA. We will understand in details why it is. See now, after these things, all these experiments, it has been concluded that a molecule that can act as a genetic material must fulfill the following criteria. Some criteria were fixed for a substance to be a genetic material. What are those? Number one, it should be able to generate its replica. It should be able to generate its replica, means it should replicate, it should be able to replicate itself, it should be able to duplicate itself. Then only it can transfer from one organism to another organism. Understood? Without making copies, without making replica, it won't be possible, to transfer from one organism to another organism. That is why a genetic material must have the capability to replicate itself. DNA and RNA both can replicate themselves. That is why they are the genetic material. Proteins cannot replicate themselves. Understood? This is the first criteria. Second, it should be stable chemically and structurally. It should be stable chemically and this is very, very important. Okay, this point. So I am rubbing this part. So it should be stable chemically and structurally. Let me explain this point. See that DNA and RNA, as I said, both are genetic material, but on this point if I specially focus on, then I will have to say DNA is better genetic material than RNA, because DNA is more stable structurally and chemically than RNA. This statement is very, very important statement I have given to you. Okay, DNA is better genetic material than RNA because DNA is more stable structurally and chemically. Why is it? Why is it? Okay. Let us understand. There are 3 points. There are 3 points I will discuss, that how DNA is more stable, what makes DNA more stable than RNA. Okay. First point is that DNA is a double helix model, double stranded. DNA is a double stranded molecule. Okay, DNA is a double stranded molecule. We know that DNA structure we already have seen, it's a double stranded DNA. This double strand structure itself gives the DNA a very very stable structure. If two strands are there attached to each other, you can understand that it gives a very stable structure. While RNA, if you look into, RNA is only a single strand. RNA is a single strand. Okay, so the structure is spiral only, like DNA only the structure. RNA structure is very much spiral, helical structure, but it is made up of only one strand. Okay, so and that is why one strand and having the two strand, from the you can easily understand which structure can be more stable. Okay, so this is one first point, that double stranded structure of the DNA give it more stability. Okay, second point, this is the first point. Second point is that number 2, the 2' hydroxyl group, okay, present in RNA, as I am writing DNA about, so hydroxyl group is absent in DNA. 2' hydroxyl group. If you remember the structure, just let me show you the rough structure of the sugar that is present in the DNA or RNA. If you remember the deoxyribose sugar and the ribose sugar, I have shown you that at the 2' position, this is the 2' position, this is the first prime position. At the 2' position, there is a hydroxyl group present in the in the ribose sugar of RNA. At the 2' position, this hydroxyl group is present. Okay, this hydroxyl group is very reactive in nature, and that is why RNA is structurally very liable and unstable, labile, you can say, structurally very labile and very reactive. So it can break, it can break easily. It can, that it can change easily. The RNA structurally can change very frequently. Changes are very frequent, very common in RNA, because this hydroxyl group makes RNA very reactive in nature. So when somebody is very reactive, means it's not stable. That's a fact, right? So, but in DNA, this hydroxyl group is not there. The oxygen is absent from the DNA. If I consider this is a DNA sugar, means deoxyribose, if I consider it as deoxyribose sugar in DNA, then I will see the hydroxyl group is not there. The O is absent in this 2' position. That is why you say the deoxy. The oxygen is absent here from the hydroxyl group. So as the oxygen is absent, this is no more reactive in nature. So that gives the DNA a stable nature. As hydroxyl group is not there, obviously it is stable. Understood? This is the hydroxyl group only that gives the DNA a reactive nature, labile nature. Understood? So this hydroxyl group is not there in the DNA sugar. That's why the DNA molecule structurally very stable in nature. Okay? So genetic material should be stable in nature. Good genetic material should be stable in nature. Okay, it must be stable in change, okay, in according to the life stages, age and different situations, different environment. The change in the genetic material should be very stable, very in coordination with the life cycle, with the age and different factors. If it change frequently, very rapidly, very reactive in nature, then it is not suitable for evolution. Slow changes which is provided by the DNA, stable changes provided by the DNA is suitable for evolution, and that gives a stability in the nature. So that is what is the second point. I hope it's clear to you. Now if I look at the third point, what makes DNA stable in nature, that in place of the thiamine which is present in the DNA. Okay, it is written in the book here, the presence of thiamine in the place of uracil also confers additional stability to DNA. Thiamine is present in the DNA, where in case of RNA, what is present? Uracil. Thiamine is not there. So we will see later on that chemically thiamine can provide much stability in the structure than uracil. So in DNA we see the thiamine presence. Okay, so these are the three reasons what makes DNA stable chemically and structurally. Okay, so I hope this point is also clear to you. Number 2 point we were discussing. Number 3 point, it should provide the scope for slow change that are required for evolution. As I have just said, the slow change, when some genetic material is stable in nature, then only it can allow a slow change, and which is suitable for evolution. So DNA has the property, right? Then it should be able to express itself in the form of Mendelian character. So Mendel we have already studied in the principle of inheritance chapter. Here there Mendel explained that how with the help of two alleles, okay, characters are expressed. Okay, so a genetic material should follow the same way of transferring of characters from generation to generation. The dominant, the recessive we have studied. Okay, how two allele combination in a gene transfer the characteristics from one to the next generation. We all have studied, right? Heterozygous combination where two different alleles are there in a gene. Homozygous combination where two same alleles are present in the gene, and how they are expressing themselves in different characters, different stages, different generations of a family. We have all studied. We have understood those concept of Mendel. So a genetic material should express, okay, in the form of Mendelian character. Okay, so DNA and RNA also have the property, but DNA is obviously better. Understood? So these are the 4 criteria that needs to fulfill, okay, by a substance to be a genetic material. So from all point of view, if we discuss, if we see RNA and DNA both are genetic material, but our DNA is better genetic material than RNA. Okay. So next topic is of our RNA world. Then we will start with the replication part. RNA world, nothing much at this point we will discuss. We have a separate topic of RNA we will discuss while explaining about the transcription and all. Okay, just simply let me tell you that RNA, we know that it's a single stranded. Okay, we have already seen single stranded, and in the RNA, as it is a single strand, there is no base pairing in the RNA that can take place. It's a single strand in the RNA. Understood? Single strand with the nitrogenous bases are present here. So it will be adenine, uracil, cytosine, guanine. Okay, as thiamine is not there, so uracil is there. So any combination it may be. Okay. Understood? So this is how the nitrogenous bases are here. Okay. Uracil present here, but there cannot be any base pairing because two strands are not there, right? Only one strand is there. So adenine, uracil, cytosine and guanine, these are the nitrogenous bases which are present in the RNA. There are different types of RNA. Okay, tRNA, mRNA, rRNA. Okay, different types of RNA are there. We will see one by one. When the specific topic will come, we will definitely discuss about this. Okay, so this is it for today, for this video. I hope you understood the explanation, the discussion we have done. Okay, so just wait for the next video. So next topic I'll be recording very soon. Okay, thank you so much, all of you.